Hello and welcome to Board Stupid. My name is Wayne.
And I'm Matt.
And this is our review of Go Ahead Punk.
Punk?
Make my day. All of that stuff, all of that jazz. Go Ahead Punk is a one versus all game, and we are going to dig into how that plays. But before we do,
well, you hit the subscribe button because that's the most important thing that you can do
with your life.
In your life. Yes, I'm pretty sure that the doctors say that you need to hit the subscribe button. So
absolutely,
hey, whatever the doctor says.
Exactly. Who am I to argue?
Yeah, and after that, why don't you check into the link that we got down in the description, where you can find a lot of very nice clothing and t-shirts and streetwear and geeky wear and office wear.
With an extra 10% off on top of any other discount you can find. The best possible discount.
Absolutely. Go on the website because there are new promotion every time, but we give you a little bit more with that 10% discount on top of any other bundle discounts that you can find. So you should definitely go and check out into the for some very nice new clothes.
Right. Let's try to avoid the sniper as we find out how Go Ahead Punk plays.
You punk!
Go Ahead Punk is a one versus all game for 2 to 4 players, playing in around 90 minutes, designed by Mark Prentice and published by Next Dimension Games. One player is a sniper on the loose, and the other players are cops trying to hunt the sniper, known as Stinger, down. Every round, each character performs one action per turn, such as moving around the map, drawing a card, or other role or location-specific actions. The Stinger's job in the first act of the game is to complete 3 hits at different locations on the board. To complete the hits, they need to draw cards from the Stinger deck, which give them keys and access to the hit locations. They move around the map to those locations, perform the hit, and then reveal their position on the map. Once they've completed 3 hits, they then need to escape the city at one of the ports at the top of the board, with some additional restrictions on the modes of transport they can use, as the city's been locked down. If Stinger can escape, then they win. On the other side of the table are cops. They must find the Stinger and do this by moving around the locations of the board. If they move over or onto the Stinger's space, Stinger reveals himself and combat begins. If the cops can kill the Stinger, the game ends with the cops' victory. But if the Stinger escapes, then they disappear and the hunt starts anew. So Matt, let's talk about our experience with the gameplay of Go Ahead Punk. So as we've already talked about and as you've seen, this is a one versus all game where there is hidden movement involved, right?
Exactly. So one player plays the sniper,
the Stinger in this case.
This case, and all the others gonna play the cops,
trying to chase the Stinger down.
Yeah, exactly. And all in this very thematic 70s.
Dirty Harry,
Dirty
right?
Harry's and all those ones. I'm trying to remember the names, but those movies, I just remember the Italian titles that are very different from the English. So I don't want to say titles that are not correct. But you know, that kind of movies where you've always got the wear-down cops that are trying to save the day in the Los Angeles of 1970X.
Smoking cigarettes, driving muscle cars, going around, etc.
And all that very 70s stuff, big moustache. And
big moustache, exactly, afros, all that business. And this game, thematically, I think does that pretty well. I mean, it is very thematic, it is dripping in theme, and it's quite unique in that respect. You don't really see like 70s cop feel
you don't.
in board games.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
It's a pretty cool. Yeah, if you think of like those like De Niro movies or everything from like Taxi Driver
or the buddy cop stuff. Buddy cop series.
It's pretty unique and never seen in many board games. So we definitely give the guys, the designer and the artists for these games like a very big thumbs up for going with a theme that is pretty unique.
Absolutely, and they've tried to add that into the gameplay as well, where obviously the sniper is moving around the map. So However, I think in our experience, Max, we've played this at multiple player counts with different types of people.
Yes.
And I think for me, it kind of slows down a lot. I mean, this game doesn't really have an immediate pressure. So I felt like, and I think you felt like, as the Stinger, with some other hidden movement games, you feel like the pressure is immediate. But in this game,
it's more like a slow burn.
It's a slow burn.
Especially because the game is divided in two big acts.
Yeah.
So the first act is where the sniper try to do the hits, and the cops trying to find him and stop him. And that side of the game is more toward the sniper. It's easier for the sniper because it's easier for the sniper to move around and there are many locations where you can move. I mean, there's a lot of location, and to cover all these places with just 3 players is very difficult, especially because the snipers move faster than the normal cops, and it can go literally anywhere.
And there is a lot of locations on this board. There's 156.
And then the second act instead is the escape. So if the sniper managed to do the 3 hits that he's got in his book, basically, he needs to run away from just 4 locations. You can do it from 4 locations. So it slinks down where he can go, where he must go. On top of that, he can't use like the fast routes. He can't use the highway or the transport. He can't use anything. So it's more toward the police side.
And that's where the pressure comes in, I think, for the Stinger player. But I think unlike other hidden movement 1 versus all games, you don't start with your immediate objectives in hand.
No.
In games like Sniper Elite, or in Mind Management, or Fear of Dracula, or Letters from Whitechapel, you know one player,
you know what you need to do.
You know what you're doing. In this, you don't.
You don't.
So you have to draw the cards.
Yeah, you keep drawing cards, and eventually you will find what target you got. And that kind of like, I felt when I was playing as the sniper, kind of like very slow down the gameplay, especially because, again, every player only do one thing every turn. So if you move, you move. If you're trying to get a card, you get a card. Sometimes the cards, depending on what card you get, you might be able to draw another card, but that is very much of the luck of the draw. So you never know. And that kind of like, I felt for me it was slowing down a little bit as the Stinger, as the sniper trying to achieve, because it happened to me that for 4, 5, 6 turns I did not get the cards with the targets, and I was literally just moving and going
back and forth, and it does kind of grind down in that way. And when you're the cops, you feel a little bit sort of impotent in that way. You're sort of just running around, and we should clarify. I mean, as we explained, every now and then the Stinger will reveal their general
every
location.
3 or 4 turns you.
But sometimes that's not helpful at all. I mean, you could be bouncing back and forth between a couple of spaces, kind of freely, moving quicker. And again, you are doing one thing, you are just drawing a card. And the annoying thing about this deck is, sometimes it's just bad things happen to you as well. Right?
Yes, because as a cop, you can draw a card where you have like a street fight from something else that takes you away from the action. That was. That kind of like slow down as the Stinger. The same time, what we found out is that you can play it's 1 to 4 player. However, I would say that the best play to play this game is a 2 player
or 3 maximum.
This is because when we played with 4 players, in that case I was one of the cop, so I was controlling just one of the cop, and I found myself running left and right. Oh no, it's going there, and now it's going there. So I wasn't really doing much because I was trying to move towards where I think the sniper was, but then the sniper being very much faster, it was completely on the other side, and then on the other side I was literally like not doing much.
Yeah,
I played with a lower.
Yeah, we played with 3, and I think it felt a bit better, at least for the cop side of it. But I think there was too many times where your turn doesn't feel impactful.
Yeah.
I want to feel like I'm doing a thing. Right?
Yeah.
Even if it's like not anything in particular, it might feel like I'm closing you in, or at least having an idea. But with 156 places on here, I mean, this isn't like a 5x5 grid or like a sector or 4 sectors. There's a lot, so it's quite relatively challenging to feel like within my turn, I can do something to pressure you. If I'm over here and I'm moving 3 spots, and actually it turns out you're over there,
there's not much you're gonna do about it. You can't do about it. Yeah,
I could maybe draw a card, but again, some of these suck.
They're not always good cards for the cops.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's talk about this cop deck, and then we'll also talk about the stinger deck. So let's dig into that a little bit. So one of the actions that you can do on your turn is draw a card, and as the cop, you'll be drawing hopefully some equipment or some intel. Which the stinger will tell you where they are. The equipment that you get sometimes is great. You'll get like a muscle car, so you can move around a bit quicker. Excellent. Sometimes you get some bigger guns, so you can go fight the stinger better. But sometimes
first aid kits.
Exactly. But you have this sort of inventory management, like in old school Resident Evil, where you can't put everything on there. So again, sometimes you just have entirely wasted turns because you'll draw stuff that you can't fit.
To be honest, the inventory I really liked it. Like, it's very like old school Resident Evil. You got a 2x4 and you can fit it with the tiles that you draw with. Basically,
I agree. Right? I don't hate that as a concept, but
it does.
There's also equipment that I feel like I would never take. So it doesn't give me a jeopardy where I could take this or I could take this. No, if I have this big ass gun and I draw like a bodysuit or whatever or a radio, I'm like, I don't care about that. I want my big ass gun.
Yeah, I know, but other times you got very cool cars. For example, you can call the helicopters.
The chopper is pretty cool.
The choppers can oversee certain location where then the stinger, the assassin, cannot perform the hits. But it's more toward the negative than the positive. It's more the negative things that can happen,
or at least impotent things, or non-impactful things. Right, I want to feel like my turn is a thing that is fun that I'm doing and is having an effect. What about from the Stinger's deck, Matt? Let's
from the Stinger deck, it's very similar. You got good and bad cards and the hits. So let's talk about the hits. You got a certain amount of cards that will give you where you can make a hit. So those cards will tell you, all right, you need to kill that person there. And that's basically your objective. The problem is that this objective is not like you already got a few of them at the start. You start with nothing. Sorry, you start with one. So you know your first one. But then if you start drawing cards and none of them are hits because they're all at the bottom of the deck, you keep burning cards.
To do not a lot.
To not a lot. All the cards again is going to be like better weapons or medikits or the bad ones. The best one is going to be like, you're going to get spotted by the police and you need to reveal your position. Again, not as bad as the cop deck, but still, I felt like maybe having the hits all at the start of the game, like drawing 3 random ones, and those are from the start of the game, would have been slightly more interesting, making the game slightly faster.
Maybe,
That's my opinion.
At least, more like games that I'm more familiar with, potentially. Let's talk a little bit about how the sniper gets found, how the stinger gets found, because what I also find quite unusual in this game is the sniper has to track whether or not they've been passed over as well as if they've been landed on. Because normally in these types of games, you have to land directly on the space, right?
Instead of this one, if a cop passed through where you are as a sniper, you're getting detected, and then it's the fighting starts. So,
which in principle I think sounds cool. But in practice, I think is quite, I think from the Stinger's perspective, you're constantly then looking at the map.
Yeah, you're very much...
where did you move? 69, 70, 71?
Yes.
Yeah, so... I don't know.
It makes it a little bit more clunky. I found sometimes if you really pay attention, if you're the cop, you really pay attention of where the sniper looks, well, you kind of
can probably work it out.
Work it out, but again, it's It's different from other games, absolutely.
Yeah.
That is a different take
Different spin on it, that's for sure.
on this. And yeah, someone could like it. Someone.
It's certainly more American style, right? Where you have the randomness, you have all of that to it as well.
It's way more American style than all the hidden movement games that are more
more towards the European style. Like
but again, having 156, actually 160 locations in total, it kind of like it's needed, because otherwise you can hide forever and you cannot ever be found, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. So Matt, do you want to talk about the combat a little bit? So, and how you feel about that? So once you do get found, a combat will be initiated.
Yes.
And essentially it works like this. Depending on the size of your gun, you will roll that number of dice trying to get a number of hits. If you get hits, then the opposing party will lose that amount of health.
Yeah, so
relatively straightforward.
Simple as that, and then you get the shoot back as the opposite side.
And then you get the, sorry, go ahead.
No, simple as that. And then there is the next phase where the stinger, it can try to escape. So you roll one die again, and on the dice you will have the escape symbol. And if you can escape, you escape, and that's it. And the same thing, the cops can do the same.
Yeah.
I never found that the cops
would ever want to escape.
Yeah.
I felt, well, at least in our playthroughs, and we played a few times, that I don't think the cops ever wanted to just escape. I mean, once you're found, I mean, I'm there until you put me down, because there's no elimination in this game. I just go to the nearest.
For the cops.
Yeah, you go. Yeah, true. You go to ER. If you kill the stinger, the game's over, right? You win, which is fine. I mean, that's the objective. You want to try and kill the stinger. But for the cops, I didn't feel like there's much jeopardy to run away.
No, there's not much. While for the stinger,
there's loads of jeopardy.
If you that the game ends. It's true as well that the stinger starts with 10 health points, while the cop starts with 5.
Yeah.
However, it's very much a roll of a die.
Yeah.
If you shoot me with a weapon that's got 4 die, and you hit me 4 times, there's not much I can do about it. And then if at the end of that turn I cannot escape, I'm still in combat, and then the next turn you shoot me again, that's very much the end of the game.
Yeah, and that's where we'd say it leans very heavily into the sort of Ameritrash, Ameristyle type spin on this type of game. And yeah, like I say, if the stinger goes down to 0 health, that is game over. You do have a get out of jail, escape-free token, which you can use once per game.
You get one, and some. I think you can get another one in the deck as well. Yeah. But still, the escape always happen after the shooting. So if you got 4 damage, you got 4 damage, and there's not much you can do about it. Stinger can still go to the ER to get his life back, but then you need to say that you got your life back, so the people will know where you are, and then it's going to be easier to pin you down. But yeah, I found it a little bit. I know that you don't really like it. It's that American stuff. It's that kind of like it's the old style dungeon crawly fighting where it's a roll for the enemy for the rolls
so who wins,
There's not much of mitigation in the die.
There are some combat cards which you can use here and there, but again, it's the additional layer of randomness. Yeah, you won't necessarily pull those from the deck. Matt, should we talk about the production?
Yeah, talk about production.
Let's do that. So Matt, what do you think in general about the production for Go Ahead?
I think production is really good.
It's pretty cool, actually.
It's really good. The artwork is really good, and I think if you like the genre, you're gonna love it. You're absolutely gonna love it.
I think if you're a fan of like those 70s cop flicks, you'll be doing quotes like all the way through the game, like because it does evoke that. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's very much that. It's from anything from
all of the artwork on the cards. Yeah,
Starsky and Hutch.
That's what I do. Yeah, all the Starsky and Hutch sort of stuff. Yeah, all of that.
But it's a really good production. Again, the player boards is double thick.
Double thick player boards, absolutely, with some good artwork.
The custom dice are pretty, like normal dice, but with a nice the iconography is really clear. It's very much based on that art style. So if you don't like it, you might be like, oh, that's There is a lot of brown, of like toned down colors.
Yes,
but it's
very muted color palette.
But it's done purposely because it was. How was in the 70s?
Yeah, absolutely.
There was a lot of brown in the 70s.
There's a lot of brown and
khakis and
beige.
that kind of colors. But not all the cars and everything. They look pretty amazing. You got this big board that it looks very much came out from what was on the board of a cop movie. Map. So no, in terms of the production, is really good. You can't say anything about it. And again, if you love the team, you're gonna absolutely love it.
Yeah, I do think it's a little bit sticky when you are the Stinger, I think, because you've got this map at the back, which is pretty hard to read because you have like a list of numbers essentially here.
Yeah, you got
which isn't particularly helpful.
Yeah, but, and then you got the same map on this side. Yeah. I found it like that. Again, when I was playing Stingers, I was trying not to look too much on this one behind the board, because you can clearly see if I'm looking to the left or I'm looking to the right, because you need to read the numbers. Yeah. I did have to put my glasses on, but that's my problem. That's my problem. I could not be a sniper because I can't read anymore.
It's the production is pretty cool. I think there is. I think maybe you could have done with a bit of shading or something, because I think that with the way the text is, I don't know how deliberate it is, but it's like very much like feels kind of stuck on.
I think being a little bit flat is bringing back to that art style. I think that is thematic.
It's a deliberate.
I think that is made on purpose.
Okay.
I do understand what you say. It could have been a little bit more than nice, but then maybe would have lost that feeling.
Maybe. But yeah, I think in general, I think I've done a pretty good job. And for an indie publisher, which is
because we forgot to say that this is the first game from Next Dimension Games, and still this went like sold out at UKG.
It's down to its final copies. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. But it did pretty well.
But people loved it, and I saw probably. I would say the older players.
Right.
But it's kind of like if you've grown up with those movies and stuff, you will love the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Matt, let's talk about who this game is for.
Yay! All right, Punk. What do you think this game is for then?
Yeah, I think if you are unfamiliar with the one versus all genre, and this is something that you've not really played before in terms of style of game, and you are a big fan of this theme specifically, if this theme appeals to you, this 70s Dirty Harry, Starsky and Hutch type vibe, then this could be a game that you could be interested in and probably derive a lot of enjoyment out of.
Very much.
People that we spoke to at UK Games Expo, they were very much of that ilk. They liked the vibe of it because, they liked the hidden movement genre, and they like the theme. And I think you really have to be into the theme to really get the most out of this game. I also think if you really want a very Ameritrash style, American style, Ameri-style spin on this genre, then this might scratch that itch that I suppose more sort of streamlined or structured types or balanced type games of this type would give you.
That's correct.
It might scratch a different itch.
Yeah, because if we're thinking about like a hidden movement one versus all game, our first one that I would think is like something like Sniper Elite.
Yes.
That is way more structured,
more
streamlined than this. This game, you could be as a cop or as a sniper. You can be running around the map for quite a while,
potentially,
without nothing really happening. But then again, instead, it could be that everything happens all together at the start of the game. It's the nature of the American style, where there is a lot of randomness at the start before you make any decision.
Absolutely, and correct. And it might be that then each time you play it would be different, right? Because like you say, the first time you play, you could have all of the keys and then you could go to all the places, then it just happens immediately. Or it might be a little bit more slow and methodical. So if you want that type of vibe, this game would be for you. Right, in terms of its complexity, we would probably put this into our advanced category, or would you put it into expert?
No, probably advanced, because it's. So let's talk a little bit about the rules first.
Yes, okay.
Because that is gonna influence why I'm saying that. The rules of the game, there are not that many rules. However, especially to me, it took me a few times reading the rules.
Yeah.
Because I found some of the rules were a little bit not complicated, but just laid out in a complex way.
Non-intuitive.
Not intuitive. So there are a few things that you will have to go back to the book to read, especially the first times you play, but then as well second times you play, I was going back to the rule book, and the third time I was still going back to the rule book.
There's a couple of rules. There's a few interactions that were a bit sticky, I think.
Yeah, it is. But again, I'm still thinking that this is first publishing for these guys, and writing. This is a very, very ambitious game to bring out as your very first game, and the rules. I think they might have been slightly more streamlined, or giving less downtime in the game,
or a better user experience in the rules, right? Because I think it is an entirely different set of skills to write a good rule set, right?
Absolutely,
and it's a challenging thing to do. And I think there 100% could have been improvements here, because as you said, Matt, there was some stickiness, some rules interactions that weren't clear, and some definitely plenty of clashes when we were playing. Wait, does that work with this? How does this interact?
Or which one goes first? Which one does that pile of actions?
Is it clarified in here? We weren't really sure. So I think it's definitely, I think, more complex than it
should have been. Absolutely. Yeah. That's why. That's why I still think that this is a more like an advanced game, not an expert. It makes it an expert just to interpret the rule book, and kind of like having to do a couple of like homebrew rules that you think they're more fair. But yeah, that's where I think it sits more or less.
All right, Matt, should we go to our final thoughts?
Yeah,
let's do it.
All right, Wayne, before we talk about where we put in this game in our rating scale, what would you recommend this game for, or which alternative would you recommend?
Alternatives to this game, I think, I can't go past Sniper Elite.
It's
the obvious synergy. You'd already mentioned it as well. It's a more streamlined rule set. I think Sniper Elite is an excellent example of the hidden movement genre. It also features a sniper.
Yes.
But with a slightly different spin, where the sniper is the good guy in this aspect. And with Sniper Elite, the pressure is on immediately, and it's a fantastic game. I very much enjoy that game. A game that I think is the best example of the genre is Mind Management.
Yeah.
It's one of my favourite games ever. I think Mind Management is amazing. It is a bit more avant-garde and weirder than this game.
Yes, it's more toward the expert.
Yeah, but I think it's just only because it's weirdness. I mean, it's a fantastic game, and actually I think complexity-wise, it's less complex. And in fact, it has it was essentially like a 7 or an 8x8 grid, so it's much smaller in scope.
This is huge. The number of locations is
I mean this will play 90 minutes to potentially 2 hours. Mind Management is like a 45-minute game.
That's
so
true.
It's a different scope. So but that is a wonderful and with an amazing production as well. So those two alternatives for scratching different itches in this genre. Now, let's talk about our final thoughts then.
So I think this game is for being a first attempt into the board game industry is great in terms of like how ambitious this project has been, and how it's really very well received by the public, very well received by the backers. If you love the team, absolutely. There's not much else like with this kind of team.
Absolutely.
However, I would say that it probably wasn't a game for me. It just because I like the randomness in other genre of game. I would like a little bit more of streamlined and or maybe a smaller, shorter game, because it's when you invest like 90 minutes in the game and then you lose because you roll a couple of dice in the wrong way. It takes away a little bit the fun out of it.
Yeah. I mean, some people would say that's high drama, high stakes.
Yeah, it
So
is.
again,
It
if you
is.
like that, great, but otherwise it could be quite frustrating.
Yeah, but at the same time, as a cop, I felt the same things where I was controlling one single cop in a group of 4, and I would just go a little bit there. Oh no, it's there. Oh no, it's there. Oh no, it's there.
Just block off this area and like, okay, but
Yeah.
I don't feel like I'm doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think I'm right there with you. I don't think this game is for me, so this is not for us, I think, but it might be for you. For all of those reasons that we've mentioned, I typically didn't find my turns to be particularly impactful, and when I'm playing a game like this, if I'm the hunter, I want to feel like I'm putting pressure on you, or that I've always got a gist of where you might be, right? Whereas a lot of the time in this game, I felt like I was waiting. I'm just waiting until I get
something
a reveal,
to happen, yeah.
or
yeah,
I'm waiting until this goes down to here and you tell me what area you're in. Oh, okay, we go over there. And then by the time we get over there, I need to wait again. I mean, wait until the reveal. Or I'm drawing cards, waiting. And that for me wasn't fun for me.
No.
So this game isn't for me. And so it's not for us.
But it might be very well for you. If you are like a fan, again, of the movement genre and you want something more, American style, that you can chuck a lot of dice, or being a more like a cinematic. So some of the moments of the game is really cinematic, and it's really fun. When you get into those like section of the game, it's very, very good. It just is so in between those moments that is a little bit more slower there. But maybe it's like still, it's like one of those 70s movies where nothing happened for a while and then everything happened at the end.
Exactly. But if I'm popping out a game for 2 hours, then I want to make sure I'm having a good time. And sometimes I just won't.
Yeah, it needs to be more consistent in the thing. So, but again, if you're a fan of that, of this specific like genre or this specific theme, I think this might be very well for you.
Absolutely. If you are interested in this game, the only place you can get it right now is by emailing the publisher.
Yep.
On
the website.
At Next Dimension Games.
Whoops. The sniper.
That was the sniper. The copies have already gone out to the backers. If you have backed it, you should have your copy already.
And that is a great thing. So well done to the guys.
For the delivery, fulfilled. There's been plenty of games that I've backed and you've backed that probably waiting for.
Still waiting for it. Yeah.
So tremendous thing as well. And that's where we sit, I think. So let's take it to the outro, Matt, shall we? That was our review of Go Ahead Punk. But what do you think? Did you back this game?
Yep.
Did you get to play it at UK Games Expo? If either of these things are true, put a comment in the comments below and let us know what you think about this game. Are you excited to receive it? Did you get a little preview of it? What were your thoughts? How did it stack up to other classics of the genre, such as Mind Management, now Sniper Elite, or Letters from Whitechapel, another excellent game, or even Fury of Dracula, or Spectre Ops?
Oh yes, Spectre Ops.
All of these
very good one,
are tremendous examples of the genre as well. Which is your favorite hidden movement game, and which one would you recommend? Let us know in the comments below. And if you like this video, you know what to do?
Hit the like and then hit the subscribe.
Do that thing.
Yeah.
We really like it. Go and snipe that subscribe button.
The subscribe. That's good. That's good. For once, that was a good job.
Thank you, mate. Snipe the subscribe button and make us happy, and make yourself happy while we deliver you content every single week. Check out the rest of our videos and we will catch you again real soon.
Ciao.